Bro, what's good with everybody? We got
Yeah.
the two OGs in the building. I know Justin
Two
likes
of
Watch
to
your
them.
mouth,
call
bro.
himself
Watch your
that.
mouth.
Yeah, no, I
Two
mean,
of them.
I ain't
y'all don't
quite
want
there
to
yet.
admit
You
it.
know what I'm saying?
You're above the age of 30, right?
Nah, man. I'm 25, bro.
Yeah, I am in
Yeah,
25.
let's be
You ain't
real.
been 25 in 25 years.
Yeah, we got two OGs in here. You got Dub in the building. Another pretty promising Friday that happened, especially in football. But sadly, there was one that I paid attention to. The 5.5 spread did not work
Yes.
this time. It hurt. It hurt my soul seeing it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
You can't trust the Carolina Panthers with that joint. You know what I'm saying? Carolina is the worst team in football. They
I hate
proved that
Carolina.
last week. You know what I'm saying? That should have cashed last week, particularly since the Saints have not covered as a favorite all year. Had no problem doing it versus the bum ass Panthers last week. So we got to get back on the horse. But all in all, a good week. You know what I'm saying? Had a couple takedowns. You know what I mean? But we got to keep it going. We got to keep it going.
I'm here to save y'all. Here to save today. Here to
There
say
you
today.
go,
We
my
gonna
man.
prop that thing right back
I
up.
mean,
That's what I'm here.
Oh.
I'm not outside of that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We've been hitting on a lot. We both called the Bills game. I don't think that was
Yeah.
too much to call though, but we both called the Bills game. Michael Pittman has been hitting religiously
Michael
on
Pittman
stuff.
is the man.
Well, there was also some. We talked about the rushing with who was it? There was somebody rushing last week. I think it was on the Jahmyr Gibbs and him and his
Yes,
rushing yards.
Jameer Gibbs. Yep, we did
Yep,
that.
we hit a lot. We hit a lot. So we gonna hit
DJ
some more.
Moore, also a
DJ
big
Moore.
week last week as well. He was able to come through for people. So Mike Evans, when Mike Evans was kind of light last week, you know what I'm saying?
One catch. One
Yeah,
catch
he
for
was light
8
last
yards
week.
or some shit like that.
But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Real solid, you know what I mean? We had a couple of upsets in there. So I feel good about it, you know what I mean? We got 3 games on Saturday. We got a full slate on Sunday. I'm not sure what we got in the NBA tonight, but we could do that too. I think I only got one college bowl joint that I really like so far this week. And then we get to that, and you know what I'm saying? We good to go.
Man, Justin, you gotta join the winner circle, bro, because we've been hitting a lot.
Yes.
So
What you mean?
you
I'm
can't
still part of
disappoint.
winner. I've been gone a couple of weeks, you know what I'm saying? But the winner circle is part of, I was born in the winner circle, so let's cook something up.
Let's cook something up, San Francisco 49. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, speaking of winning, how you like them Niners now, Corey? Mr. Detroit Lions first in the NFC. I don't want to hear that no more.
Season ain't
Y'all
over yet.
about to get bounced out of first place. You guys are gonna lose to the Cardinals. And you know what's so crazy? We could talk about this game specifically. I am really thinking about picking the spread for them at 12.5. I picked the spread so I made some picks on Sunday morning that I did not talk about here, and I was very upset I did not talk about on the show because thinking twice about it, I picked the Jets to sit here and win, and then I also picked the Seahawks to hit their spread because it was at 13.5. But this one right here, the Cardinals have always been a matchup issue for the 49ers, like historically. It's just something that they've always struggled with. Like, it's like one of those teams where it's like they're trash, Niners are good, but for some reason they're always going to struggle against that team, right? In my personal opinion, especially with the Cardinals at home, if you're going to risk it, if you're going to be a risk taker, you want to hit that 5.5, that plus 540 right now. Hey, with some money that you can spare, hit that plus 540. If not, I'm taking the spread. I'm not going to lie.
I think the Niners, with the way we're playing football right now, the way the 49ers are playing football, this isn't a team that I want to bet against. And the spread, if I was going to play this game, it'd be spread. But like a lot of times when you're picking spread, a lot of times you think there's a chance that this team can upset because the lines are normally pretty tight. Y'all know that, right? But like a lot of times when I bet, especially the larger spread, I like to think there's a chance that the team can upset them and win money line if possible. I don't see the Cardinals. Way in hell the Cardinals win this game. I don't even know if it's going to be close. With the way this offense is clicking right now, the way the defense is playing, I get that the Cardinals are coming off a bye and probably have some things up their sleeve. But to me, this is more like a stay away. If anything, I'd probably play the under in this game. The total sitting at 46 or 48 right now. I'll probably be looking at the under in this game, just thinking like, you know what, in case this Niner defense comes to play a little bit more. But the Cardinals pull out some stops and find a way to get some stops in this game.
Over the course of let's take a look at the last number right here. Last 13 games, Arizona 7-6 straight up. 7-6 against the spread versus the San Francisco 49ers. So they're all positive. Now, where's the game at this week?
It's in Arizona too.
Game's in Arizona. So let's see. Now, when the game is in Arizona 3-3 ATS. So, you probably can get a little bit of an advantage there back in the Cardinals in this spot right here. My thing is, I don't know if I want to get in front of the San Francisco 49ers right now. Listen, nobody likes a divisional dog in December more than I do, but you're just seeing a team right now that has a chance to grab a hold of that number 1 seed, not have to make that trip back across the country to Philadelphia if they do get to that time later on this year. Because you remember what happened last year, 49er fans traveled deep, and they went to try to take over the Eagle Stadium, and Gilly and them cats was like, don't get beat up in Philadelphia. And you see Niner fans was real quiet in that stadium, so they like their home field advantage, so they don't like to go to Philadelphia and risk getting knocked upside their head from Paulie Walnuts out there.
Now I gotta deal with the fans
out there in South Philadelphia.
Y'all come down to the Niners. Hey, but I will give you this. The one thing I could see is if you are playing the spread and you're gonna play that 12.5, the backdoor cover. With Kyler Murray in this offense, there is a chance for like a backdoor cover. They're at home, coming off the bye. Maybe they keep this thing close early on. So I'm with you there, Dub. I do think that there's an opportunity. If I was going to take that number, I think you'd be playing for the backdoor cover there in the fourth quarter. So I'm actually not too mad at that, Dub.
Yeah, man. I just, last season was pretty bad for the Cardinals, mainly because like Kyler Murray wasn't there. But when you look at the seasons prior, bro, they're beating the 49ers 2 times in one season, splitting it with them, and they're always matching a 12.5 spread for the majority of the time. So in my head, with Kyler Murray being back and off of a bye week, this is risky money. Well, what's the saying? Scare money don't make money, bro. You feel me? This is one. How y'all feel about some of the props in this game, though?
Now, if I was going to be looking at props, one player that to me obviously sticks out. When you go to Christian McCaffrey and we're looking at his total rushing and receiving, we see what he did against this team. What was it, week 4? Week 3, week 4?
Week 4.
When and he went crazy against them. And I think, why do anything else, right? When this Cardinal team might be ready for it, but when I'm looking at this over, I don't know what his total numbers at right now, but when I'm thinking about like the total rushing and receiving prop, I don't see a way Christian McCaffrey. I want to say it's 120.5. Wow. There it is. 120.5. I think for sure this is a player that's going to be chunk play after chunk play against his defense.
What's the tight end in Arizona? What's
Trey McBride?
Yes, Trey McBride. Let's get some Trey McBride action in a game with a helter-skelter game script. You know what I'm saying? Where you could see the young men from Arizona playing from behind. So I would say a little bit of Trey McBride, maybe his yardage, maybe his receptions is something I would look at. Other than that, it's too many, like, you know what I mean? Like
too
50-50 type cats on that team. Obviously, you know what you got in San Francisco. Brock Purdy passing yards over is always a good one to look at as well.
A sneaky player that I like coming off of the bye, if he's healthy. Hollywood Brown was dealing with some injuries this week. He was able to give it a go at practice, but rookie Michael Wilson is a player that coming off of the bye, a young team, they got to see what they have. This franchise invested in him, 3rd round pick. He's a big body receiver. So it wouldn't surprise me. Kind of what we're seeing in Carolina with Jonathan Mingo. We're starting to see with some of these other young players. Later in the year, a lot of the times the rookies start to get a little bit more now that they know the playbook. They've been involved in the offense. So Michael Wilson, who's been out for a few weeks, I don't know what his exact number is for this week when it comes to receptions or yardage, but my bet is they start to get him involved. Kind of like we saw this on a Thursday night game with Tucker for the Raiders. It's like you start to see what you got in some of the younger players. So give me Michael Wilson. I don't know what his exact number is. If it's anything around the 30 marker, though, when it comes to yardage or anything close to 2.5 receptions, I feel like those are pretty good numbers when it comes to Michael Wilson.
Shout out to Michael Wilson.
I'm definitely going to also look at Kyler Murray, 210 passing yards. He's been doing that ever since he came back, and especially in a game like this, I really think he should be able to hit that. So I'm good with that. We could talk about some other games.
Let's hop into tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm curious of you guys' thoughts on tomorrow, and we kick it off at 1:00 with the Bengals and the Vikings. Bengals, I see some threes. I see some 3.5s. I don't know where I'm at on this. I think the Vikings are live in this one, but I got to be honest. I like the way that Browning is played. Zach Taylor is getting the best out of the personnel. This is a home game. I want to fade Cincinnati, but I think I'm either going to stay away or actually back Cincinnati. Curious you guys' thoughts on this one right here.
I think this is an easy, like on paper, this looks like, okay, Nick Mullins starting at quarterback. It's problematic for this Vikings team. No Alexander Madison there. But I kind of get the feeling like this, in a weird way, this Vikings team, no matter who's been at the helm, no matter what the score is, 0-0 game going to the fourth quarter on last Sunday, like they're finding ways to win. Kind of similar to what the Bengals are doing. The Bengals are at home. But the Vikings surprisingly have been a really good road team against the spread. So I think there's some value here, and we're playing along a lot of the lines of like, oh, Nick Mullins, is he good? Is he trash? But it's like Justin Jefferson back. This receiving core is healthy. There's weapons the same way there's weapons on this Bengals team. There's weapons on this Vikings team. So I kind of like playing the 3 there for the Vikings and maybe even sprinkle a little money line.
The thing is, and so the Vikings' strength on defense is their ability to stop the run. But the Bengals do not mind not running the football at all. You know what I'm saying? Brian Flores, has worked himself back into the head coach conversation with the job that he's done with this defense in Minnesota. It's become it's become an elite unit in the NFL coming down the stretch. We've always known Minnesota to be a good offensive team. But if you watch them this year, they're really being led by their defense, and Flores doing a good job with that. So that's what kind of worries me. So that that Browning is going to be able to get the ball down the field against this secondary. So
I don't know. The way they were using Jake Browning, I like it though. Like because especially the last couple of games, they get him short yardage stuff to mix in to Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, working kind of short stuff and then going long. And I almost think that plays right into the hand of this Minnesota defense. That's either all blitz or all coverage. Like they damn near play Madden defense, right? It's either heavy blitz or they're sinking back in coverage. So I think depending on how this chess match goes between 2 pretty good coaches, Zach Taylor and Kevin O'Connell, like I think that I just like the setup. I like the setup for the Vikings this week. I really do.
Going to be an interesting contest.
If you had to pick one, Corey, you picking the Bengals?
I take the Bengals in this one. I give the Bengals a slight edge, especially if that number sticks at 3.5. If that number's 3.5 going in the kickoff tomorrow morning, whenever a team is laying a hook, I'm like, I got to go with it because to me, why would you not take the hook? You feel what I'm saying?
Hey, I ain't mad at that. Yo, Dub, battle of the 2 receivers, bro. Jamar Chase, Jettas. We get them both. The 2 LSU receivers. Everybody calls them the 1 and 2. Who do you think has a better day player prop wise?
I definitely was going to just talk about Jamar Chase too. I know he had a down week last week, but I mean, that's just who Jamar Chase is sometimes, right? Sometimes he's going to have down week and probably some down stretches and then make it back up in some other games, right? Against his Vikings crew where, like we talked about, short passes for Jake Browning and then sit here and opens up the field for everything else. I think Jamar Chase should be able to get 5 to 6 receptions. I like staying at 5 all the time. I like going just under the spread that they give me. But 5 or 6, I think he's definitely going to get those receptions. In terms of yardage, that can go either way because if they keep doing some bubble screens or some other screens for Jamar Chase, I'm not sure how much yard he should get from that. I'm also going to look into, especially with me thinking that the Bengals will win this game, Joe Mixon. He had 79 yards last game. He got 20 carries the last game. And I think ever since Joe Burrow is getting out, he's been hitting 56.5 for the majority of the games. So me personally, I'm sticking with Joe Mixon. 56.5. They have no other choice but to run the ball and have some short yardage plays. And me personally, if we're going to go with yards, I mean, honestly, bro, they both don't have their quarterback. I don't know. I don't want to get into this. I would just stick with the receptions because they would just force feed them no matter what because they're the best players. I'm sticking with the receptions because I think Justin Jefferson's sitting at 5.5 too. Put both of them at 5. Joe Mixon at 56.5. 56.5 rushing, and that's a nice little 3-leg parlay right there. I'll stick with that.
Single game parlay, right?
Vikings, bro. Like you mentioned, that rush defense has been a little better than expected this year. I don't know. Playing with that Joe Mixon one seems it is what it is. Throw it
He's
together.
bet
See
him
what
and
happens. See what happens.
Joe Mixon, because he got hurt in the Ravens game, right?
Yeah, but the
He's
one thing
been hitting
about
that
Mixon,
every game besides the Steelers game.
the one thing about Mixon though is that he's not just a running back. You know what I'm saying? Like they use him so much in the passing game too. They've been trying to get Chase Brown a little bit more involved. So
Chase
that's
Brown
the only
is an interesting option fantasy wise next year.
Chase Brown?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's gonna be the starter next year.
I believe so.
I agree. I'm with you there. I think he's showing some explosion too, man.
Whoa.
Oh my, here we go. Here we go.
Hey, we got.
I don't know how comfortable the two of you guys are. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to the second game of the day tomorrow, right? Pittsburgh Steelers, Indianapolis Colts. I love to fade the Colts when they are at home. This is a Mike Tomlin Pittsburgh Steelers spot. Everybody's down on the Steelers. Kenny Pickett sucks. They want to run Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? Lost to the Patriots. Lost to another bum team. The perfect spot to back Mike Tomlin on the road as an underdog. Love the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me some Jalen Warren love tomorrow. Steelers, Jalen Warren, maybe a little Najee Harris attempts. That's what I'm looking like right now.
A lot of Najee Harris attempts. The attempts, I feel like Najee attempts is free. Like damn near almost every week it's at 13.5 or 12.5, especially coming off the injury from his Thursday night game. I guarantee it's probably somewhere in the 10 to 12 range. Najee Harris is 15 carries every game, 15, 16 carries every game when he's healthy. So to me, that's part of how they want to use him in this offense. And going up against this Colts team that's airing it out a little bit more. We've seen Josh Downs at times, Alec Pierce at times. Consistently, we see Michael Pittman involved. So all they got to do is get the run game going. But there's going to be opportunities against this Steelers secondary for them to air it out. So I think the Steelers are going to try to keep this thing on the ground, keep the ball out of Trubisky's hands as much as possible and into these running backs' hands. I see a good day, strong day on the ground for Najee. If it was anywhere under 14 carries, that's a smash.
Yeah, we've been high on the Colts for a few weeks now, right, Corey?
They were on the road. I like them. I like them on the road.
Not to win. I'm talking about the player props.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Michael Pittman has been magic.
This is the game where, especially against the Steelers crew, where their defense is just suffocating, right? Their defense is exceptional. I think it's one of the best defenses in the league. This is a game where I'm probably going to stay away from the offensive player props with Minshew and Michael Pitt and everything. I just think those guys are just way too locked in. And I think running the ball is going to be a key factor on both the crews here in this game. And like you said, you mentioned Jalen Warren love. I wouldn't be too surprised if Najee Harris or Jalen Warren's going to get a TD this game. I don't know which one, and it's always annoying because it's either one or the other, and it pisses me off. But one of those two will be getting a touchdown this game. And honestly, I know they had a bad week against the Patriots, but them playing on Thursday with some extra rest, a little bit extra fresh legs, I think they both may hit their you got 50.5 for Najee Harris, 45 for Jalen Warren. I think they both may hit those. I'm not even going to lie.
And listen, the attempts, both of them, Jalen Warren's 8.5 attempts, Najee Harris 13.5 attempts. I would hit both of those over on those attempts right there. Mm-hmm. So I think we see the Pittsburgh Steelers kind of lean on that running game and not MVP Mitch. I call him MVP Mitch because if you remember, going into the 2020 season, there was liability at sportsbooks on Mitch Trubisky to win the MVP. And I was like, that is the biggest charity play ever.
Mitch Trubisky, knowing you, was probably on Mitch Trubisky.
Never. I was not on Mitch Trubisky that year. I was on Jameis. Jameis threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
That's why you are how you are now. That's why you don't like a black quarterback, because it's Jameis.
Oh, come on now. Hey, I tell the truth about Justin Fields. I tell the truth about Deshaun Watson.
This guy's insane. The Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos is playing the Detroit Lions, and this is a Lions crew that has kind of turned the corner, but in the wrong direction, right? They've been struggling a bit for the last few weeks. How you guys feel about this game coming up?
I kind of, the way that the Broncos are playing, man, it's set up for like, Broncos on the road. They've been playing well. They can go in there and beat Detroit. And it kind of feels like the narrative, the casual take, just to be real, to be like, I like this Broncos team, but I do. And I think Russ has been playing well. I think this defense has been playing well. They got their back. He's healthy. He's able to take on a full workload over the last few weeks. So I kind of like what this Broncos team is doing, and it feels like a really bad matchup for the Detroit Lions, who, they've been on the ground a lot with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, but where they've been struggling over recent weeks has been in the passing game. Like, that's where they've been struggling. It kind of feeds into the hand of what this Denver defense likes to do. So I'm kind of on the Broncos here, man. And, it's a 4.5 point spread. They're on the road. I wish it was that 5.5, but 4.5 is good to go with me. Give me Denver in this one.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't get to 5.5 because I like the Lions in this spot right here. Once again, laying that hook at 4.5, a key number. You know what I'm saying? And listen, Detroit has not been the ATS wagon that it was to start the season. As a matter of fact, they've been a little bit, coming in against the spread. But what I see here is you can run the football on the Broncos, right? And that's kind of not what Detroit wants to do. But just stay with me right here.
Wait, that's not what Detroit wants to do?
They want to pass the ball.
Detroit?
I think Detroit wants to pass the ball more so than run the football. Because you got Jared Goff at home, control environment, night game, the only game. This is not a spot we normally see the Detroit Lions in. So that's why I think this is a spot that their fans are out. The Lions are here. We're getting ready to go to the postseason. Home game. We're the only team on Saturday night. I think this is a big spot for Detroit football. Any other instance, I would roll with the Broncos here. But this game being at night in Detroit, I think the Lions put on a good performance.
Yeah, I guess it's more like a Monday night, Thursday night, Saturday night football type atmosphere. You're right.
That's what I look at in this spot right here. But here's the thing: do I trust laying the 4.5? Put it like this: it'll probably be tomorrow for me. It'll probably look like a Steelers, Lions, Bengals money line parlay.
You said Steelers, Lions, Bengals.
Steelers, Lions, Bengals money line parlay.
I like that too. I actually do love that too, because I think with the Lions struggling with the way that they're doing, it is what it is. I mean, they played a division rival in the Chicago Bears. Things like that happens. Them going up against a Broncos crew where I do think, even though you say that they want to pass, me personally, I still think they're going to tote that rock. And I think
can do that.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery and what those two can do together, it should be able to beat them. In terms of the money line, I mean, on the props, I'm not too sure about this game in terms of the props, because specifically for the rushing with David Montgomery and Gibbs, it can be either or. Montgomery's at 69.5 and Gibbs is at 50.5, and I'm like, either one of those guys can hit or miss.
All I know is 7 touchdowns in the last 8 games for Cortland Sutton. Anytime, Brian. Anytime score for Cortland Sutton. Gotta be on the board. This boy, I think he got 10 touchdowns on the year already. Cortland Sutton's been going crazy as the red zone target for Russ. So, and especially against this Detroit secondary, I think there's going to be some opportunities. I take an anytime score for Cortland Sutton this week.
Oh, and my bad. For rushing, for the opposite end, Javonte Williams has been hitting this 56.5, 50 for a good minute now. They've been running the ball pretty well for a substantial amount of time. But this is the weird thing, right? Stay with me real quick. For the last few weeks since Buffalo, 79 rushing, 37 rushing, 65 rushing, 46 rushing, 66 rushing, and then now it's this week right here. So maybe he could miss it this week. So now it's like, me personally, I would still bank on it. But me personally, I would be mindful of that, especially against this Lions crew.
I would go Javonte Williams over 18.5 receiving yards. That is a prop. He's hit that prop in 3 of the last 5 weeks. And the Detroit Lions are not very good at stopping running backs out of the backfield. So I would look at that one right there as far as receiving. That's probably the one I like the best, is probably receiving yards, is Javonte Williams. As far as receptions go, maybe in the reception category, what's my man named? Little Jordan Humphrey. His prop is 0.5, so you're looking at 1 catch from Little Jordan. He is, the last 5 weeks, he's going over that number 4 times. So in a passing environment, I can see that happen. Now, do you really want to put your hard-earned money behind a cat named Lil Jordan?
Shit on Lil Jordan, bro. He ain't even a Lil Jordan. He a Lil Jordan, bro. He Harold Miner. That's what he is. He's Harold Miner.
Oh, man. Shout out to Lil Jordan.
To capitalize on what you said about Javonte, I'm checking this now for him too. He's also hit 3 receptions for the for 5
There you
out of the
go.
last like 6 weeks he's been doing that, and that's sitting at minus 166 right now. You should lock that in too.
One player on the Detroit side, because we know what this Denver secondary is, especially with Patrick Surtain and just some of the guys there in that secondary. Sam Laporta is probably going to have some opportunities in the passing game, especially in the intermediate passing game. So he's kind of been the second receiver for this team. They try to get Jamison Williams going, and Jamison Williams just, he's more involved in the run game and shot plays. I think consistently moving the ball down the field is going to be trouble for this Lions team in the passing game, even though I kind of agree with Corey. That's what they're trying to do. St. Brown's probably going to see a lot of Surtain. Give me Sam Laporta. Give me Sam Laporta to go over 47 yards.
And listen, if you want to take a flyer too, particularly more so in fantasy, or if you're in DFS, Josh Reynolds is somebody I would look at too. Because normally when you have a tougher matchup for St. Brown, Reynolds is a guy that's going to get it done. But I'm a big Laporta fan. I had a couple of best ball teams I wish I had Laporta on. You know what I'm saying? Going into these final rounds. But
you got a couple teams in that best ball mania?
Yeah, I got a couple teams in the best ball. I got not in best ball mania, but in best ball resurrection. I got a team with no tight end, right? Yeah, I know. But here's the thing: I got lucky in the group. I got a group where I'm the only guy with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown.
Oh, so you just need them to dog it out.
If they can thug it out this week, you know what I'm saying, we might be able to get a layup. But
your boy had Herbert and Keenan Allen. It wasn't a good. It's all
been a bad year for you.
Hey, we in there and we got a couple backups. So hopefully they produce on Sunday. One of them that I have is Baker Mayfield. And Dub, you know what I'm saying, I was in early on Baker Mayfield, but Battle of the Bay, you know what I'm saying? That's normally the Niners and the Raiders, right? Oakland Raiders is normally the Battle of the Bay. Tampa Bay and Green Bay this week. Yeah. I think this is going to be a better game than what it appears to be on the surface. And what you guys thinking about this one?
It's interesting right here that they're laying a hook with. Remember I told you I like when a team at a key number is laying a hook. The Packers laying a hook at 3.5. That doesn't feel right to me. This number is going to move. This is a spot where I would go to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, I think, might be 5-0 ATS against the spread this year. After that win last week, it could be 6. Tampa has been very good on the road this year.
They're 6-1. 6-1 on the road right now.
6-1 on the road right now. So Tampa on the road, playing for a division title. Yeah, if I would gobble up that 3.5 right now on Tampa Bay.
Gobble.
Whoa.
Pause, my bad.
Yeah.
Gobble,
gobble.
Very good, gentlemen. I won't be gobbling anything.
No, but there's, for this game too, the Bucs are going to be without one big piece potentially, right? Chris Godwin looks very shaky to go for this game. He was able to give it a go last week, but if he's not able to give it a go this week, even if Jair Alexander's out there, Mike Evans to me, it's run it up season for Mike Evans. So 5 receptions is his total, especially coming after a bad game last week. I think this is an area where you can kind of chase a little bit of the production from last week. I think if the Buccaneers are going to move the ball against this Green Bay team, obviously you want to use Rachaad White, but through the passing game, it has to be Mike Evans. Over 5 receptions for Mike Evans this week.
Yeah, I there's nothing that's really, I'm a Mike Evans supporter. You've been talking about Mike Evans, that reception number seems a little high to me. I would probably go Romeo Doubs over 3.5 receptions, right? If I was going to look at that market. Now, if you're looking in the yardage market, you know what I'm saying? Then obviously, Mike Evans is probably where you want to start at. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of my weeks, I start with Mike Evans. Really. Oh, another player. Oh man, Rachaad White. You have to have some Rachaad White as far as in your player props. He is getting a lot. He's not doing nothing with it, Justin, but he's getting a lot of touches. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's getting a lot of touches. His volume.
I like see Corey. I go when I say this, and I gotta hear all this shit back from you. But now when you say you're supposed to be a genius 3 weeks later, after I already put you on, right?
Son, when you were saying that he
Baby Alvin Kamara, yeah. Where we at now? Rashad White,
he wasn't playing well when you were saying it. I gave him a little bit of that.
Exactly.
Magic.
See, you playing in the past. We got to anticipate on this side, baby. See it coming.
Good job. Good call. Listen, Wright got off to a bad start. Don't act like Wright is killing it. He just getting the ball.
That's killing it. He getting the ball and he killing it.
He was averaging like 3.7 to carry.
Here you go. We looking at production, or you trying to look at efficiency? What you talking?
I'm talking. Listen, you're right.
Send me the results.
Correct. You're right. I can't knock that. He's cashing the props.
Send me the results. You know what? In Rashad White, 20.5 receiving yards.
Easy.
Easy, bro. I feel like that's an easy number.
I also want to talk about Jalen Reed, 4.5 receptions, especially with Watson, where he's possibly more than likely not playing the game. I think that's going to cash in. But other than that, I do think the Buccaneers should be able to win this game. I mean, we just seen the Packers just lose a bad one to the Giants, so I kind of expect the same result. Speaking of, do you guys want to talk about Giants and Saints game, or I'm not?
I mean, do we have to say it? It's 5.5, so you already know. You already know.
There it is.
You already know the New York Giants to win the game.
To go
into New Orleans with Tommy Cutlets and win the football game. That's it.
That's insane.
It. Tommy Cutlets, you know what I'm saying?
You really got the winning.
Giants are going to the Dome and win the game.
Justin?
I can't be mad at it. Especially because this feel like it, to be real, I ain't gonna hold you. It feels like this team's giving up on Derek Carr. The Saints have given up on Derek Carr. The fan base has. They're potentially without Chris Olave. The offensive line is giving up on him. The city's giving up on him, especially if they go in this game and we get a Saquon Barkley touchdown early, or this team gets behind. The fan, and it's at home too. Like, we might see a little Jameis sighting in this game.
Here's the thing that you just mentioned that is the key to this game. The Saints hate their quarterback. The Giants love their quarterback. And that's the difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Say what you want to say about Tommy Cutlets. The players like him, and they like playing with him and for him. And on the Saints side, they can't stand Derek Carr.
They hate him, bro.
So there you go.
Saints 1-5. 1-5 this year. ATS at home.
That God-loving man.
1-5 is favorites this year. The only win against the bum-ass Panthers.
Hey, that's why they put that 5.5 on them. They was
I know. Hold this. Dude, the 2 5.5 losses this year was the Panthers and the Patriots, two of the worst teams in the league. The Giants was in that conversation too, but I think they win their 4th straight this week. I like the New York Giants. Give me a big blue pause. And then, listen, a little Isaiah Hodgins, you know what I'm saying? A little Wan'Dale Robinson, you know what I mean?
If the Giants win, I'm going.
No Giants receiver. I'm good.
Yeah, if we go with Giants win, I'm putting Saquon anytime TD on that too. That's the only way I see them winning.
Well, definitely, yes, Saquon. That could be the play right there.
Expected return of Darren Waller. He's supposed to be back this game too. So I ain't saying that he's going to do anything this game, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of options, miscellaneous, obscure, just average ass options on this Giants team. I ain't fucking.
I'm not gonna lie. Hey, I'm about to put that 49ers and Giants 2-leg parlay. Those odds are immaculate. Oh, those odds are immaculate for me. But that's for me, though. If I got money
Cardinals, Giants?
Cardinals and the Giants. That's at plus 1,900 odds. Those are my favorite type of odds.
There's a game out here that I kind of think might go a little differently than people think. Genuinely. I think this Washington Rams game, everybody is on. Stafford is back. This team looks good. But you know what? Coming out of the bye, I think Sam Howell, he was playing really good football up until a couple weeks ago. I think coming out of the bye, even with dealing with this Brian Robinson injury late, I feel like this Commanders team has a little shot at potentially upsetting the Rams even in this game. The line's is 6.5. I think that's way too many points. I think Commanders are better than that and will come out and play a little bit more inspired than that.
Hey, Dub, this you want to hit a plus money banger this weekend with a parlay?
I do.
Commanders money line, Giants money line. That's where it's at right there. That's a good call. I love the Commanders in this spot right here. As a matter of fact, 13-10 ATS as road dogs under Rivera. So that's from 2020. But if you look at the last 2 seasons when the Commanders are on the road as an underdog, 7-3 ATS. That's a good spot for them right there. So I would take them and I would sprinkle the money lines. Then they got a chance to win the game. Like you said, everybody is the Rams are back, the Rams are this, the Rams are that. It's a good opportunity to fade the public, come back with the Commanders. The Commanders ain't shit. We know that. Excuse my language. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. But in this 1 week spot right here, and then next week they'll go back to Washington and lose to the Patriots. Yeah. But this week right here on the road in LA, I can see you pulling off the upset.
You ain't lying. Yo, I just think Sam Howell, I think a bounce back effort's in store for Sam Howell. And this Rams defense has actually been better than we all expected coming into the year. Like, even like Witherspoon's playing really well. Of course, Aaron Donald's playing well. But I think Sam Howell, they get to that passing game. They got to open things up. If we're talking passing yards for Sam Howell, I'm going over. I don't even know what the number is, but if it's anywhere in that 250 range, which it probably is, I'm taking the over when it comes to Sam Howell, especially because they're not going to have that battering ram in Brian Robinson this week. So what's that mean? Check downs to Gibson when things get tight. They're going to air it out. Jahan Dotson's been up and down this year. I can see him having a strong game. Like, I just think there's a lot of offense aerial-wise for this Commanders team. Sam Howell, what's the number for Sam Howell this week? I don't even know what it is.
269.5. Love Sam Howell this week.
Send it.
Love Sam Howell this week and Matthew Stafford. This is an overplay too. Yeah, this game will go over the total right here. This will be back and forth, up and down. Neither team can really stop the other team from passing the ball. And listen, Eric Bieniemy coaches Sam Howell like he's Patrick Mahomes. That's the reason why he's not going to be the head coach next year, and they're going to be looking for, a new everybody. I'm hearing that Bill Belichick is going to be the guy in Washington.
Is that what they're saying?
That's what they're saying.
Right now, Sam Howell's sitting at plus 140 right now for 2 TDs. Lock that in.
I think you have 2 touchdown passes this week.
Lock that one.
I mean, ain't that right? The only thing with Sam Howell that's a little sneaky is sometimes he uses his legs. That's the only thing about Sam Howell is that he kind of a dog with that. He'll go and put his head down to try to get some stuff. So, I still rock with it though. Over TD and a half.
I'm locking it, and especially without Brian Robinson there. Locking that 2 TDs. The Rams aren't going to be able to stop them.
I would look at how passing and rushing yards. That combination right there. Howell passing and rushing over 289. I would. That's something that I would lean into. Let's look at the last 5 weeks.
He might even hit that just passing.
Yeah, over the last 5 weeks, he's 4-1 to that number. So there you go right there. Sam Howell rushing and passing over 285.5. And you're right. He could hit that in passing. I might play, if you can get an alternate spread, might play Sam Howell over 299.5.
Over 299.5.
Yeah.
So 300.
So over 300 yards passing. Just get it nice and get a more impactful. I'll say it.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah,
I was going to say a larger number, but I know how just it is.
Also, you the one started. You the one started, Corey. Yo, crazy number though. You start looking at some of these numbers for the Rams, and there's a lot of offense supposedly in this game. You look at Kyron Williams, his total rushing and receiving yards, 119.5. Cooper Kupp, 77.5 receiving yards. Puka Nacua, 69.5 receiving yards. And that's a lot of yardage in this game. So if you were worried about like this game being an up and down game or potentially playing the under, like there's some leans and hints that this game is going to be over points wise.
If you were single game parlaying this game, play everything over. I think this is going to be some points in this one. Both teams get into the 30. It should be one of the best games in the 1 o'clock slate when they go to the Octo Box.
Also, I do want to talk about another game since we're talking about a lot of upsets here. There's another game I do want to get on before the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know that they lost to the who did they lose to last week again?
Cleveland.
They lost to Cleveland last week. At the end of the day, though, I don't expect lightning to strike twice, and I think this team should be able to contain the Baltimore Ravens and what they're able to do defensively. And, Trevor Lawrence got to show up every sooner or later, right? So this is one of those where I'm just banking on the Jaguars to sit here and turn the corner, to sit here and defy the odds right here. It's not, again, this is a week right now where if you got money to spare, I know it's Christmas time and a lot of us don't, but if you got some money to spare, we're giving you some upsets right here that I'm not going to lie, you should definitely look into. I think the Jaguars.
I'm good off anything Jacksonville.
I like the Ravens.
I'm good off of anything Jacksonville this week. Lawrence still dealing with that high ankle more than likely. That Ravens defense, obviously, without Kyle Hamilton, but there's expected to be some wind in this game too. But this Ravens team is playing for the number 1 seed. They're not giving that up. They're playing for something.
They didn't look good last week, Jacksonville, and I kept a close eye on that game because I needed that game to come in for me to hit a parlay. And I kept a close eye on that. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like the way that Jacksonville looked. And one thing about Jacksonville, they're not the same at home than they are on the road. So you can basically what you see is that when you're on the road, there's structure. Okay, we got to be here at this time. We got to be here at this time. We got to be here at this time. And then they go and they do their job. When they're home, they probably, hey, doing what I'm doing tonight. Or what I would like to be doing tonight.
These guys The issue is, and I think a lot of it is, the offense hasn't been too terrible besides the picks from Trevor Lawrence last week. But I think what happens is they got caught off guard with Jake Browning. They got caught off guard with even Joe Flacco. This is a game where they have to prepare. I think the Jaguars are a team that plays up to their opponents and down to their opponents at the same time, right? And I think this team right here, the Ravens, a contender. And let's not forget, you talk about the Ravens trying to keep the 1 seed. Well, the Jaguars are like a game or two away from missing the postseason. They're playing for a postseason spot too. So it's a very tight race, and I think this is the one.
I just don't see so when I look at the Ravens, what they're able to do defensively, obviously they get really creative. They've had a couple games where they've given up some points, but this Ravens defense is elite. This is an elite defense. And when I look at Jacksonville, I think without Christian Kirk, how are they going to be able to move the football? That's the problem with me. They're going to struggle running into Travis Etienne. They're going to struggle on the outside with Ridley, with Zay Jones. This is going to be a tough time for them moving the football, whereas the Ravens, it comes so much easier to them with all the weapons they have. You got Lamar. You got the run game with Keaton Mitchell, Gus. You got the receivers playing really well right now, and even Isaiah Likely, they had him open for a busted play 50-yard TD last week. Like, there's just so many options with this Ravens team. They're going to get to 28 points. I don't know how the Jacksonville Jaguars do it this week.
And this should be a big Lamar Jackson week too. I can see a hero ball Lamar out there this week too. I would take Lamar passing. I would take Lamar rushing. He's not getting the anytime touchdowns like he has been in past years. You know what I'm saying? He even mentioned that himself. His touchdown number is down as far as rushing touchdowns go. But I would look at Lamar Jackson over 50.5 this week. I think we get some hero ball Lamar this week. The Ravens could have very easily lost that game last week. They need to. Here's the thing. We talked about it last week with the Ravens. They can either get eliminated in the first round or win the Super Bowl. That's just what it is with them.
That is true. So that's what's scary, especially what happened last week. People talk about chinks in the armor with the Jaguars. Well, there's chinks in the armor with the Ravens. They just so happen to win the games and not lose them, right? There's chinks in the armor against the Chargers. There's chinks in the armor against the Rams. There's chinks in the armor, and the fact that they're still capitalizing even with these chinks is impressive, but they very much can lose both of these games. I mean, they could have lost the Chargers and the Rams game, and think of very much this game.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but Lamar's a winner.
Lamar's a winner. Wow, this is what
quarterback.
We do.
Wins the quarterback stat.
Next
I'm a big Lamar Jackson. I'm a big Lamar Jackson guy.
Right,
another thing on this one, right quick. Oh no, your next game. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, I see you avoiding the game, Corey. You avoiding a pretty big game, bro. What's going on with that?
I'm quite sure Dub is going to bring that game up now.
Oh my God, yeah, the Bills and the Cowboys. That's the main game I almost forgot about. You probably talk about something different, but we have to talk about.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about, Bills and Cowboys.
Oh, okay, bet. Yeah. So yeah, the Bills and the Cowboys. Josh Allen versus Dak Prescott. This is something that could be very interesting. It's going to be surprisingly, I think it's going to be one of the best games this week. How you guys feel about this game? The Cowboys are really trying to stay in front of the division, and the Bills are sitting trying to make the postseason. How you guys think everything's going to play out?
The floor is yours, my man. I want to hear this.
Well, this is interesting right here, and I'll get you guys' thoughts on this one right here. First of all, the number is interesting. When you look at the number right now, you got the Bills anywhere between 2.5 and a 1.5 point favorite, but for the most part, the Bills are laying 2 in this spot right there. So what does that tell you? Now, you would say, well, that the odds makers like the Bills. Why would the Bills be favored here? If you think about it, are the Bills really favored? Because the Bills are getting 3 points because they're the home team. So really, the odds makers like Dallas in this spot right here because that number is under 3. Am I correct in that, Justin?
You're correct in that, but I like the way you're spinning this right now. So keep going.
This
narrative you're writing right now. I hear it.
So now let's break it down, right? So let's go unit by unit. Buffalo's defense can't stop Dallas's offense. That's true.
Okay. I'm with you.
Dallas's defense can't stop the run, so Buffalo is lit too.
Okay.
I think it's a close game. I think Dallas wins the game.
That's the homer talking in you.
Could be.
And the reason why I say that is Dallas is going to have to go on the road, and they're going to have to prove that this run game can be efficient with Tony Pollard. He's been pretty mediocre average this entire season, and I think that this Bills team knows through the passing game where they're going to go. They're going to go through CeeDee Lamb, right? When I look at the Bills, now that they've switched up this offensive coordinator, right? This offense has looked a little bit different. It's looked a little bit more dynamic in the middle of the field. Like they're getting James Cook into space, especially in the passing game. They found consistent ways to move the football without having to run it, which was their biggest issue. They ain't been able to run the football consistently all year. So if they're able to use James Cook in the passing game, that's going to throw this pass rush off a little bit. You get those pass rushes coming from the outside, collapsing in the pocket. You either get Josh Allen running, or you get him flinging that thing to James Cook in the short passing game. So for me, I'm in on this Bills team, and I feel like, for all the Josh Allen, he can't finish. This team is a team that belongs in the playoffs. Like the Dallas Cowboys, they got a spot locked up.
Yeah.
The Bills know they're fighting for their playoff life. This is a loss. They're out the playoff picture, right?
But here's the thing, right? This is really the whole game is who's going to turn the football over. If you think you're going to throw 2 interceptions, if you think you're going to give the Dallas Cowboys 2 more possessions, they'll blow you out. And when teams turn the football over against the Cowboys, what do? They blow them out. Josh Allen going to throw an interception this week.
But you talked about environments. This is going to be one of them in playoff environments too in Buffalo.
It could be the AFC Championship game. He's going to throw an interception.
In Buffalo. And, the Bills are a tough home team too, right? I don't think they've lost all year at home. They're a tough team at home. And, coming off an emotional win, obviously last week against the Chiefs, I get it. There's a letdown opportunity here, but the Cowboys are coming off an emotional win too. And so to me, I look at this Bills team, and the reason why I trust this Bills team more than I trust this Cowboys team is because I believe they can beat you on multiple facets. Whereas I think this Cowboy team relies solely on the defense and CeeDee Lamb.
How is it that the offense is what's carrying the team right now? The way they're playing offense. And listen, I would love to sit up here and trash Dak Prescott. You know that.
He's playing well. No, he's playing really well right now.
I can't trash him right now. I want to.
He said I want to. Why you want to, Corey? Why do you want to?
Because I know what's going to happen in a month from now when it's the divisional round and they playing in San Francisco or Philadelphia, and he open up, they sing a national anthem and he throw an interception.
I know what's going to happen now. He's probably going to look that way.
Dallas should win this week and lose next week to Miami. That's how I would say it happens.
So you play Dallas money line?
Yeah, Dallas money line.
I need the Cowboys to lose, so I'm always going to root on them. I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all what y'all should do on this one. This is me and my personal bias right here. I need the Cowboys to lose, so I'm going for the Bills. But I'm not betting on this one because it's just not there for me. I'm looking at props, bro. This game right here, I think is going to be insanely high scoring.
I would say free prop. Free prop. This is absolutely free. James Cook over 22.5 receiving yards. That's
James
free.
Cook.
That is free.
I would start my props with James Cook this week, and then I would also I like Tony Pollard is playing better too. Looks like he's finally healthy. So it's Cook, it's Pollard, it's CeeDee Lamb, it's Dak Prescott. Dak hasn't even really had to escape the pocket this week in a tough environment. I can see hero ball Dak, so I probably would take an over on the rushing yards on Dak. What is Dak rushing over? I mean,
probably like 15.
I would take 13.5.
I would take that.
Yeah, and Tony Pollard, he's sitting at 53.5.
That's kind of high.
I feel like the receiving yards is where I would attack Tony Pollard more so than the run game personally.
He's been hitting 53.5 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He's playing better.
5 straight weeks. And yeah, he's been hitting that for 5 straight weeks now. I'm still
So,
cashing that one
Hey,
in.
that's me. That's me. I attack that receiving. I feel like against the Bills, because the Bills are a team that gives up a lot in the receiving game to running back. So that's where I would target. But
oh, my
Paul is
man,
at
Jake,
22.5.
Jake Ferguson too, all the way turned up. Jake Ferguson, you know what I'm saying? I would maybe look at Jake Ferguson as an anytime touchdown scorer.
Jake Ferguson. Love to see it. How about Diggs? He's sitting at 66.5. And I understand that the Cowboys
He's been
defense
taken out of the
is.
game. He's been taken out of games recently.
they got to get him right, though. Like heading in, if they are going to make a run into this playoffs, they have to get Diggs right. They got to get his head in the game. Like I can see a concerted effort early, especially, you know what I'm saying, his brother over there on the other sideline, little brotherly rivalry, even though he's not playing. It's a little brotherly rivalry there. I could see them featuring Diggs early to like get him going, get him active, and get him a part of the football game. I could see that happening like first quarter on the first drive, 2 to 3 immediate targets to Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I'm not putting a single penny on? You'd have to pay me, Gabe Davis.
He disappears.
I hate Gabe Davis, bro.
He disappears.
That man can have a crazy game or just disappear from the game, bro.
I'm good.
You never know.
I'm not no interest at all.
You never know, bro. That dude,
bro, go for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'm like, hey, that's all you, bro. If you want to roll that dice, go right ahead.
Somebody should think about that for some players like that. If they do go high every week, since they don't put them at 100 yards, and then when they do hit 100 yards, it's crazy odds. You probably get paid back for the money you lost. It just depends on how long you're going to be sitting here and paying that money
5
for
weeks later, you're like, I don't know about this no more.
Yeah, facts. And then once you stop betting,
alternate though, like if you can get him at like 70 yards alternate spread for Gabe Davis. Shit, if he's gonna go off, it's gonna be for 70 yards because it's not gonna be a 30-yard game for Gabe Davis.
Heck no. The thing with Diggs though, he has been getting targeted. So me personally, he's sitting at was it 5 spreads right now is minus 290. That's not fine with me. If you parlay that with something else, put him for 5 receptions. I think he's been getting targeted 11, and 8 times. It should happen no matter what, bro. But that's going to conclude today's episode of Even the Odds. Appreciate you guys for pulling up, watching the show. Appreciate these gentlemen up here too. You guys have anything else to say before we head out?
Take Howard versus FAMU tomorrow, the Celebration Bowl. Take the points with Howard.
Yeah, get this money. And a lot of you guys got fantasy teams too. Good luck. Week 15 fantasy. Headed on to week 16 in the playoffs, baby. Let's get these dubs.
Hey, bro, my fantasy team with DJ Moore, Michael Pitt, Tyreek Hill, TJ Hawkinson, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, bro. We looking to make some things happen. You feel me? And Russell Wilson. So
little late night NBA tonight. Take the 5.5 with the Knicks.
Take the 5.5 with the Knicks. Like the video, subscribe, man. We gonna see y'all next week, man. Peace.